Astrology isn't just about signs and symbols. It's a tool for navigating real life. Hello, and welcome to Astrology with Alisa. I'm your host, Alisa Dixon, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. I want to start today with a question that came in from one of you. And first, let me just say, I love hearing from you. Your messages honestly make my day. Here's what this listener wrote. My big three are Scorpio Sun, Sagittarius Moon, and Leo Rising. I resonate most with the Leo energy, but when it comes to my chart expression, I'm wondering if it's also Leo. I have 5 planets in fire, plus my Ascendant. 3 are fixed and 3 are mutable. Thoughts? Okay, so I love this question, and I agree, your chart expression is Leo. And here's why. First, you already told me you resonate most with Leo. That in itself matters. When one of your big 3 feels louder, it gets an extra star. But even if you hadn't told me that, 5 planets in fire, split evenly between fixed and mutable, that's a toss-up. Leo is fixed fire, Sagittarius is mutable fire. So how do we break the tie? I look to your Ascendant. It's not a planet, but it is the most personal point in the chart. It's so specific to the moment you were born, down to the minute. That feels like a soul-level choice. So when we need a tiebreaker, that counts for me just as much as any planet would. So with your Leo rising, you've added another fixed placement, and that tips the scales toward Leo. Holly actually brought up the exact same dilemma in our Sunday Astro Bestie chat. She also has most of her planets in fire, plus her Ascendant. Her modalities are split between fixed and cardinal. And just like you, it's her Leo rising that breaks the tie. That's what she expresses. Leo, just like you. So you'll definitely have to check out that video from Sunday on the Astrology with Alisa podcast YouTube channel. We had so much fun on there. We played a game. Each of us described someone we knew, and the rest of us had to guess which zodiac sign that person was expressing. The twist was that every mystery person had a chart expression that was different from their big 3, and some of them were really surprising. It was such a fun way to see chart expression come alive, and we had a lot of laughs. So definitely go watch that if you haven't seen it yet. Now, if you go looking for that video, you won't see chart expression in the title. It's actually called The Dice Never Lie. And that's because I opened the show by rolling my Astro dice after another one of you had reached out and asked me to show how I use them. So the dice gave the episode its name, but we talked a lot about chart expression and how it shows up in real life. So if you're curious about this or you just want to laugh along with us, definitely go watch The Dice Never Lie on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the show notes here. And since we're talking about dice, let me circle back to that listener question. Earlier this summer, I shared how I roll them daily to ground myself. This was back during my daughter's ninja competition weekend. This time, I showed the dice live. So now you can see exactly how I use them in real time. And I have to tell you, I also heard from several of you last week saying how much you love the Astro Bestie chats, that you feel like you're just hanging out with all of us as you listen. And I love that. That's exactly how I want you to feel, like you're in the circle with us, because you are. This is a wonderful community I'm building here, and I love connecting with you. You can always text me through the podcast text feature, although that's one way only. If you want a reply, reach me through the contact form on my website. You can DM me on Instagram or Facebook or in the YouTube community chat that I recently opened. I check them all, and I love hearing from you. Now, let's talk about the big astrology headline from last week, Venus conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. If you are listening to my podcast, I would be willing to bet that you listen to several other astrology podcasts as well. And so many astrologers were talking about how last week was going to be the best week of the year because when Venus and Jupiter come together, good things happen. These are the two benefics, the bringers of blessings. Venus is all about love, beauty, harmony, money. Jupiter is all about growth, luck, abundance, and opportunity. That's why this gets called the luckiest conjunction of the year. And both planets actually love being in Cancer, so that was supposed to make this even better. But here's the thing. My week last week did not feel like the luckiest week of the year. Maybe you felt that too. Here's what my week looked like. My kids went back to school. We had open houses, locker pickups, schedule juggling, nerves on edge, one kiddo moving up from elementary to middle school, which really was tugging on my mama heart, and me scrambling to catch up on everything else while I was trying to be there for everyone. Mom life! So in the moment, I honestly couldn't see any Venus-Jupiter magic. But my favorite way to learn astrology is by looking backwards. And when I did, I realized exactly where it was. It was you. It was every message, every question, every note saying you felt like you were hanging out with us. It was a chart reading I did last week with one of you. This was my Venus-Jupiter magic, not a grand spectacle, but just glimmers of goodness sprinkled throughout. And maybe that was the case for you too. Maybe the blessing was small, but if you look for it, it was there. A laugh, a kind word, a bright spot in an otherwise stressful week. And here's the kicker. We are heading into eclipse season. Eclipse energy is wild. It shakes things up. It forces change. It can overshadow even the most beautiful transits. So it makes sense that some of that Venus-Jupiter goodness got lost in the mix. But for me, it was crystal clear when I looked back. You are my Venus-Jupiter glimmer. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for reaching out. Please share these episodes with your friends. Please leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. That really helps more people find the show. Let's keep spreading this Venus-Jupiter goodness. And speaking of eclipses, that's exactly what my Astro Besties and I are talking about this Sunday on YouTube. Eclipses are cosmic wildcards. They bring sudden shifts, turning points, realignment, sudden changes. And if last week felt more stressful than magical, you are not alone. That's eclipse energy already in play. So come join us for the Astro Bestie chat this Sunday at 10 a.m. on the Astrology with Alisa podcast YouTube channel. We are going to unpack what eclipse season really means. We're going to share stories of major life events that happen to us during eclipses and give you our thoughts about how to move with it instead of against it. You know by now I am all about showing you how astrology shows up in real life and sharing practical tips on how to navigate the energies. These next few weeks, let's just say it's time to buckle up and be ready for anything. That's the eclipse energy. The video drops Sunday at 10 a.m. on YouTube, and I hope you'll join us. And until then, keep your questions coming because this community, this connection, that's the real magic. Thanks again for listening and take care. And I hope to see you Sunday on the Astrology with Alisa podcast YouTube channel. Take care, everyone.